This video is for Math 1001 Unit 2, specifically on Section 7.6 when we talk about mortgages. Let's look at this question. It says that a house is selling for $167,000 and a 12% down payment is made. A mortgage is secured at 4.5% for 30 years. We want to find the down payment, the amount of the mortgage, the monthly payment, and the total interest paid. So let's start with the down payment. That should be familiar to us from previous sections. So for the down payment, we're told that they're putting 12% down. So we know it's 12% of the purchase price of $167,000. Well, if we need a percentage of something, we multiply the decimal version times 167,000, so 0.12 times 167,000. And when we do that, we get a value of $20,040. So our down payment is $20,040. Now, to get the amount of the mortgage, that's the amount we are going to finance. So amount of the mortgage. This will be the $167,000 minus the down payment of $20,040. This is the amount that we will finance. So when we do that calculation, we end up with $146,960. All right. To find the monthly payments, we have a couple options here. One is to use the formula from the book, which tells us that R equals the principal times R over N over 1 minus 1 plus R over N to the NT. And we can use that, or we can use what's called the Tvm Solver. And Tvm stands for time value of money. And you'll notice over to the right, I have a web page pulled up from GeoGebra that has a similar version to what is on the TI 83 and 84 calculator. This website I will post in the comments so that you can get to this. But we will use the Tvm Solver rather than the formula because it's a little bit quicker and lets us compare things faster. So to do the Tvm Solver, these are our variables up here, and it explains what each one is. And what we'll do is we'll put everything in but the one we're missing, and it will solve for the one we are missing. So as we go through this, our capital N is the number of payments. Well, for this one, we have 30 years of monthly payments. So we can actually just say 12 times 30 right in the box, and this works in the calculator too. 12 times 30, that will be 30 years of monthly payments. And I hit enter and it gets 360 for me. Okay. I is the interest rate, and this is different than all the other formulas we use. Here, the interest rate, I don't want to change it to a decimal. I want to leave it as a percentage. So I'm going to type 4.5 because that is my interest rate for this problem. PV is my present value. That's sort of like my principal. That's where we're starting. And as I look, for this situation, that's going to be the amount of my mortgage. So this over here, this $146,960, that is the amount of my mortgage. That is my present value. So $146,960 will go in this box. Now payment, I'm going to skip it for a minute because remember, payment is what I'm looking for, the monthly payment. I'm going to go down here to future value. Well, what is my goal for my future value? I want it to get to 0, right? I want to have a future value of 0. I want to make this mortgage go away completely. And then PY and CY, this is payments per year, and the times per year, the interest is compounded. For both of those, I'm going to put in a 12 because this is all done monthly. So for pretty much most everything we do with mortgages, you'll put a 12 for both of these. So notice I've entered something in for every box except the payment. That's the one I'm looking for. So what I can do is click over here on Solve for Payment, and I get it. negative 744.62. Now that seems a little weird that they put it as negative, but the way this finance calculator works is saying that's a cash flow out of negative 744.62. So my payment each month, I will make a payment of $744.62. And that is what the mortgage will cost. Okay. And now this last one, the total interest paid. For total interest paid, what I'll do is I'll see how much over the amount of the mortgage I paid over that 30 years. So what did I pay? I had 360 payments of the 744.62, right? So this is the total paid monthly. Or I guess not monthly, it's really for all the months. Okay, so that's the total paid. And what does that end up being? Let's multiply that out real quick. So that is 360 times 744.62. I get $268,063.20. So this is the, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to zoom in. This is the total amount I'm going to pay over all of my monthly payments total. Now, what was the principal there? The principal was that $146,960. I'm going to subtract that, $146,960, and I'll get $121,103.20. So over the life of this loan, $121,000 and roughly $121,000 of interest will be paid. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. It uses some of the same information. So we want to find an amortization schedule for the first 2 months of this loan. And that means keep up with which payment you're on, how much interest you're paying, how much principal you're paying, and what your balance is. So we'll usually, the schedule, that means like a table. So we'll say this is our payment number. And technically there should be 360 lines here, right? Because we have 360 payments. We'll calculate our interest, our payment on the principal, and then our balance. Okay, so it's asked us to do payment 1 and payment 2. Technically, again, there should be 360 lines here, but it's only asked us for the first 2. All right, so let's switch back for just a minute. What did we know? We started out with $146,960. That was the amount of our mortgage. So we'll pay interest on that first. Okay. So the, say, interest for month 1, well, it would be I equals PRT, which is my principal, the $146,960. My rate was 4.5%. And my time, well, it was 4.5% per year, but this is just 1 month, so it's a 1/12 of a year. So I will multiply these things together. And I get $551.10. So my interest that first month is $551.10. Okay, well, that's my interest. The rest of my monthly payment will be my principal. So the payment on principal that is the monthly payment, which if you flip back, that was $744.62, and we'll take away the $551.10. And put it in my calculator real quick. We get $193.52. $93.52. Okay. And then to figure out our balance, we take our original amount of the loan, the $146,960, and we subtract out the principal amount that we have paid, which is $193.52. So we get 146,766.48. So for the balance, we take the original minus the payment on the principal. So that was the $146,960 minus the $193.52. And we got $146,766 and 48 cents. Okay. All right. So now we would keep going. Okay. For month 2, well, now we pay interest on the new balance. Instead of the original, we paid interest on the new. So we take this $146,766 and we multiply it times. So, we'll take this. So 146,766.48 times the rate times the time. And we end up with $550.37. And notice it's slightly less than last time. Our balance is slightly lower, so our interest that we pay is slightly less. Okay, now we take that amount and subtract it from our monthly payment of $744.62. So the $744.62 minus the interest of $550.37, we end up with $194.25. And then we can take that principal amount away from our balance. So we subtract the $194.25 and we end up with $146,572.23. So some things to notice about this. Each month you pay a little bit less interest because each month your balance gets a little bit less. And then each month your monthly payment is a little bit less interest and it's a little bit more principal because you're paying less interest, you have more money left in your monthly payment that goes straight to the principal. And this pattern will continue all the way down. Now, generally, an amortization schedule is not done like this by hand. Generally, we'll use a spreadsheet to help. But it's nice to do this by hand for a couple rows just to kind of get the feel of how to make this schedule.